Hello everyone. Welcome back. We're going to be doing some more Vampire Therapist this afternoon / evening. It was really fun to be able to get to, begin to sink our teeth into it yesterday. So I figured, why not? We can do a little bit more to see what it's like when we get to have our first night of clients. Renfield, Graham, welcome in, both of you. Good to see you. Hopefully everything is well balanced. Again, today I had to make some adjustments before stream. Speaking of adjustments, I have had to get rid of my soundboard connectivity. This is mostly because of some issues potentially with YouTube and some of the sound clips, especially like music or other media related ones. It kind of sucks because I like having all those little things for your little monster, for all you little monsters to be able to do, but no, YouTube is just, they're not very forgiving when it comes to that. I just finished mowing the front lawn, so I'm here. Excellent. Well, then maybe I'll get to sit and relax for a little while. After all that good work mowing the lawn, that can take a lot of effort. But nonetheless, I am glad you're here. Oh yeah, I should probably... maybe it's okay. So anyway, that's gonna be what we're gonna be doing today. We're gonna just see how it works out. See what else there is. So I actually think, without further ado, we will switch screens here and get back into the game. I'm kind of with Samuel on this one. I'm a little bit nervous and excited for what our first night of clients is going to be like. Okay, so we'll just go continue and we'll load up from here. Okay. So our counseling supervisor, Andromos, says, Samuel, glad to see you are awake. Your first client is on his way.
What, already? Look, Mr. Andy, sir, are you sure I'm ready for this? These are people's brains I'm messing with.
That is a good point. I mean, counseling is very serious business. It is people's minds, hearts, brains, emotions, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it should be undertaken with care, with training, and with, caution. So Sam has every right to be feeling a little bit nervous, but also you only ever really become ready by just throwing your whole self in, because if it just remains studying or self-reflection, you're not really practicing the skill of helping other people.
Fear not, my friend. You are a powerful vampire in your own right. To be so young and have so much empathy is quite a gift.
That makes me feel better. See, this is what a supervisor should be. They should be someone who's going to give you, helpful critique, but also reflect back to you your strength so that you don't feel as nervous.
All you need to do is listen, and I know the truth will reveal itself to you.
Yes, and this is what we call deep compassionate listening, and being present, right? Not just listening to respond, but listening to help.
Shucks, wish I had your confidence.
You will get there, Samuel. You really will.
Well, to a limited extent, I can see the future. If you are about to misinterpret a client's distortions, I will set you back on the right path.
See, that's what I wish, like, I mean, I have a little bit of precognition, but I could imagine that would be very useful to have in a supervisor. Someone who can kind of look down the path a bit and be like, no, perhaps we need to respond. Maybe more something like this.
You can see the future.
It's not that impressive, really. You start to see the patterns after 1,000 years or so.
Well, that too. I don't think it's really all just like seeing the future. I think some of it is just, recognizing that a lot of patterns do tend to repeat themselves after a while. Oh, okay, we're supposed to respond here. I think he's like disqualifying the positive, meaning he's like really underselling his own work here. So we're gonna go here with that.
Well, dang. If seeing the future ain't impressive, that's gotta be a distortion. Disqualifying the positive, it's gotta be.
Yeah, basically, because he's kind of pish-poshing his, like, the effort he would have had to put in to become familiar.
You barely require my aid as it is. If you need guidance, I will provide it to you telepathically.
Nice. Okay, so that's like the version of supervision where your supervisor doesn't have to even come talk to you. They can just mind meld with you and send you the feedback and be like, TV, this is what you did well, this is what you need to work on. That would be excellent.
Don't think about it too much. When you are 3,000, such things will cease to impress you. Let us look at your first client's case file.
Ah, yes, the case file.
Dr. Drain, huh? You ain't got no first name?
Many vampires go by one name. Families and titles seem to become more abstract after a certain age.
Huh. So is it funny that he kept the title?
Indeed. You catch on quickly, despite your habit of disqualifying the positive. I will let you work now. I shall be meditating in my coffin, but I will sense when you need my help.
Okay, I want to look at that case file again.
But
We're on our own now.
Samuel, I know you can handle this. Be yourself, and all will be well.
Gotta do something, but I'll be back in a half an hour. That's cool, Renfield. No worries. Okay, I want to see if... Oh, yes, it's in here. Great. So I can actually read it, okay? Dr. Drain is in a class of the 1614 graduate of the Royal College of Physicians. He has been studying the nature of blood for the last several centuries, becoming a vampire after post-mortem blood transfusion experiment. Now runs a global pharmaceutical research company, is now concerned that he has developed an addiction to the drug of his own formulations. Suggestion. Okay, a strong irritability on the phone. Okay, so we need to be very careful how we kind of approach this. Nexus, welcome in. Okay, so he's a little bit prone to irritability. So we should keep that in mind when we're working with him. Oh no, I hope your 3D printer is gonna be okay. That would suck to have that destroyed.
Satan bless it all, I hate flying.
Hi, Mr. Drain. How can we help you?
Hey there. God's blood, what on earth are you?
I'm a cowboy vampire. Nice to meet you. Do you want to take a little bit of a breather? You seem a little grumpy. Oh no. That's not good, Nexus. I hope you get it figured out.
My name's Sam. I'm the new therapist. Make yourself comfortable, Dr. Drain. And American as well. Good God. It's not enough for you lot to take over the world of the living. Even the halls of the dead aren't safe from you.
Wow. Okay, so this is a good example. As a therapist, when we have a client that's kind of spewing this stuff at us, it's important that we remain calm and just kind of let them get it out, and then just kind of work with them and try not to get like defensive. It did mention in his case file he's a little bit prone to irritability, so we definitely need to be speaking with a little bit of caution with him, since his temper is already elevated.
Oh well, I suppose your lot are all into this touchy-feely stuff, aren't you?
Yeah, that makes sense, Nexus. Oh, wow. Okay.
And ignorance, even American ignorance, is bliss, I suppose. Oh, sweet ignorance, how I do wish I knew thee.
Okay. Breathe. Okay.
Damn it, how am I gonna work with this fella? I gotta ask Annie.
I don't think Andy's gonna respond to us, Sam. I think we're on our own. I think what I would ask him to talk about is that he seems a bit elevated today, and would he like to start there?
Are you all right, Samuel?
No, we're a little bit freaked out. We have a confrontational client to start with today.
This fella as my first client?
Why not? He is clearly hiding very little about his state of mind.
So we gotta get to the bottom of it. And one of the only ways we can get to the bottom of it is to invite him to share more with us about his irritation, what's making him elevated, because he's taking it out on us right now, but that might not actually be the reason why he's in that frame of
He
mind.
already sees me as the bad guy.
Use your instincts, Samuel. Think about how you have felt in your darkest hours.
Yes. I could use some more of that American ignorance. Oh, no. Well, I mean, I think there's, like, a good thing to being at least somewhat educated and aware, but I think there's also a line of being too, like, you know, IV'd into what's all the stuff going on.
What does this poor vampire want?
I think that he wants the ability to express his frustration, and maybe to know that he's not the only one who's felt that way. I think that, I don't know, I feel like that I feel like personally he doesn't really want to be here today. Oh, no glasses today? Oh, I realized that I must have, like, taken them off. Here, we should put them back on. There we go. He wants, but that would be a judgment though, but he wants to, like, that's a complicated one. I feel like it's not this one. I feel like he almost, like, I don't know, there might be a part of him that doesn't want to necessarily be in therapy tonight because he's really dishing it out. He's kind of giving that out to attitude I don't think it's... He needs to vent. He wants to vent, but, I don't know.
I think he doesn't want therapy.
He is here, isn't he? That alone is a significant step. Did you commit every drop of your blood toward a new way of thinking when you started your own journey, Samuel?
I guess not. Just seems awful funny to come all the way out here and act as if he doesn't want any.
Oh, yeah. So, like, that's the thing. So, this client might be having some resistance, which is why I would probably interpret it that way. But he actually needs to vent, I think is what it is. It's just weird that it's written he wants to complain.
He's just getting comfortable, I expect. Or at least his version of comfortable.
So he might just need to express himself. I don't like the word complain here. I feel like I would pick this if it says like he wants to vent. Maybe he wants to like get another perspective on how things are, but he's certainly coming in here pretty loaded with things that he's already feeling. I really don't like that one, but it's like he needs to express stuff. Let's see what happens when we do a reality check
I
here.
think he needs a dang reality check, charging at me like an undersexed bull.
Oh, dear Lord. Maybe it was the middle one. I need to...
Undersexed bull, a reality check.
Maybe I should have gone with my instinct here. Yeah, he's right about that. That would not change his issue here.
You when you were a wilder man, Samuel.
With patience, probably here.
Yeah, I get it. I'm sure this fella's come here with problems. I can't be surprised when they show up.
Yeah, that's a pretty loaded one. So that's a good example of probably what not to do here. Okay.
I think he just wants to complain.
I would like to label or just call that as express himself. He has a lot that he needs to get off his chest.
Sensitive Samuel. He can hardly stop himself, can he?
I guess so. I guess we're gonna
So what?
call
Just
it
let him
that.
complain?
No, let him talk. Let him just vent it all out. That's what we're here for.
Just give him a starting point to let it all out. It will make him feel better.
Well, if you say so.
Yeah, that's pretty much what counseling is.
Worry, Samuel.
Not people coming in and being abusive and continuing to be abusive, but they do need to come in and vent.
Well, are you just going to sit there? I was just gonna ask how your trip here was. My trip? My trip was bloody wonderful. Until my familiar got a flat tire, and I had to fly 30 kilometers here as a bat.
Oh, wow.
I
Okay.
hate being a bat, and I hate flying. Do you know an owl tried to eat me? Me, a creature that has lived for centuries, treated like common prey.
Well, sir, you were in bat form at the time. Complain is a very loaded word. That's why I would say express. He needs to vent. Express and vent are not preloaded, which is why, as a counselor in training, I was hesitant to say complain because that's a shutdown label.
I'm surprised he was even interested. You should see what an ugly little beastie I am when I transform.
Wow, I bet you're cute. Fussy, even.
All I could do was screech and squeak until he went away.
He is combative, and we are going to have clients like this who are just like, I've had the worst day ever. I don't even think I want to be here, yada, yada, yada. But we just have to let them depressurize.
I suppose I'm alive, in a manner of speaking anyway. You all right there, pal? Yes, I'm fine. Well, I'm not, of course. I wouldn't
There we go.
But for the sake of conversational integrity, fine. I take it you've read my case file and know why I'm here?
Yes, you have a bit of a drug issue.
You're here for an addiction problem. Yes. Embarrassing, isn't it?
No? other people have gone through similar things. You're not the only one.
What's to be embarrassed about? I remember when Ulysses S. Grant was president. Didn't seem to bother him. Oh, well, of course. How wonderful it is that I share the mental failings of people who only live a single lifetime.
And this is why we have to be good at one very important thing, little monsters, and that is regulating our emotions. Because this person's dialogue is really meant to, like, poke and poke and poke and poke. And you notice how Sam has to stay completely regulated as much as possible when dealing with this.
Hey, come on now. There's a part of us that's still mortal. Can't help that, just like we can't help being dead. So I'm discovering. Look, I just need some tips and I'll be on my way. Just give me all the tricks. Whatever one does to make addictions go away.
Drain, you actually have to do some work for that. We can give you techniques to use, but it's gonna be a long process.
Tips. Let me think.
I want to be straight up, and I want to say there are no easy solutions.
Partner, there ain't no tips that'll magically cure you, but I'm here to listen. You know, I never in my life thought anyone would ever call me partner. Like partner, but not with a T. And I know how you English love your tea. Thank goodness we can still process tea. We cannot live on blood alone.
Yay! So I can still be powered by tea, even though I'm partly vampire. Which, speaking of tea...
I appreciate the concern, though. I must admit, I rather saw myself above this whole addiction thing.
And then it came up and grabbed you.
Tell you what, let's not worry about being above or below anything. You're here now, so let's see what we can do.
Yep. Because we can't do anything about what was in the past, like how it got a hold of you, but what we can do is work on now to try to make things a bit easier
What
now.
are you addicted to? It's a form of plasma, a catalytic compound of my own design, a necessary component of my own scientific goals. You're losing me. Well, let me try to make it simple. I have been able to replicate and even alter the molecular patterns that vampiric erythrocyte surface receptors receive.
Right, so like the chemicals in the brain that are stimulated by blood consumption, basically, I think it's just altered the blood so that it's a more addictive thing.
Our unique physiology gives us an increased ligand affinity, which is how we are able to process blood the way that we do. I can extend this receptivity and thus achieve my true goal, synthetic blood.
Ah, yes.
From the hunger that plagues us and hope for all humanity.
Basically, so we don't have to feed on other living creatures.
Well done.
Noble.
That sounds pretty impressive, Doc.
Noble, but it sounds like he got addicted to his own substance. Key goal is to wonder why the individual is turning to the item. Yes, because, fun fact, addiction is not just about the substance. There are usually in-life things that are driving the person toward an addiction also. And that's usually like social things or emotional
But it
things.
doesn't work without a vampiric catalyst, and that is the plasma I am addicted to. Pathetic, isn't it? I have spent 400 years trying to steal the secret of blood, only to be engulfed by it, like Prometheus walking into a fireplace.
That's a pretty funny description. At least he can have a bit of a sense of humor about it, which is what I would reflect back to him as a counselor. Yeah, so I think I should have like adult settings on. Yeah, that might be good in case there aren't enough notifications. Maybe that would be a good idea.
Pathetic? Doc, where the heck would you get a word like that? You've come up with a synthetic blood. Man, I can barely get my spurs on some mornings. Maybe you've had a setback or two, but give yourself a little credit, compadre. Credit? For wasting 400 years?
You didn't waste
I'm in
them.
the same place as I was back when King James was in power. Only now I have a drug problem.
You've done a lot more. It's just you're struggling with a substance use issue.
Perhaps I must face facts. My professor was right. Nothing we ever do will make a damned bit of difference.
Your professor was not right, my friend.
Samuel, listen to him. Do you recognize his patterns of thought?
Yes. He's leaning into disqualifying the positives and black and white. Okay. That he's believing his professor that nothing we ever do makes a damn difference.
There's some distortions in there, ain't there?
Yes, quite a few.
I knew you would sense them. Invite him to talk more about this failure of his.
Yep. Because I think it's that failure feeling that's also maybe driving his drug use. Because there are a lot of people who use substances to escape feelings of, I'm a failure, I'm not good enough.
I'll do my best. Now hold on just a minute there, cowpoke. I've heard you talk a lot about failure. But it sure sounds to me like you ain't thinking clearly if you think you're a failure. I am a realist, that's all.
Here we go. I mean, sure, realists have to look at things as they are, but we need to be careful that being a realist doesn't mean that we just throw ourselves in the proverbial trash can.
Look at me. 400 years of study and still dabbling with leukocytes.
My gosh, friendo, give yourself a break.
I don't know many people who would call working with leukocytes dabbling. I mean, I gotta admit, I have no earthly clue what you're talking about. So unless you made up all them science terms, I think you might be doing more than playing with a chemistry set.
Yeah, for real.
Perhaps. But if we consider all there is to know about blood, I know precious little.
You know a lot for what you've been able to do.
But you know something. Yes, I concede I might know something about blood. I would hope so after 400 years. You still got more knowledge about blood than most, whether it's been 4 years or 400 years, amigo.
True.
Let's get back to what you were saying, though. I'm saying I am surely the oldest, most well-studied doctor in the world. I should have achieved more than this.
Oh, should.
Well, who said you should have achieved more?
You've achieved a lot. Sure, you may have other goals that you're like, oh, I should have achieved this, blah, blah, blah. Look at where you are. There are so many other people who are not even where you are after all this time.
Isn't it obvious? I should have something to show for 400 years of work.
But you do, friendo.
And what happens if you don't? Absolutely nothing at all. Well, that's my point. That is not as encouraging as you think it is.
I can see where the client's coming from. Welcome in, Reaper dear.
Ain't meant to be encouraging, just showing you a little reality.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's kind of what we have to do. It's like, what if there was nothing that you had to show for it? Would it still stop you from doing research? Is kind of what Sam is doing there. So he's trying to get Drain to focus on, okay, so what if there was nothing? Would you stop doing what you're doing, or would you keep doing what you're doing?
Well, it's all my fault, really. I cannot seem to motivate my scientists to reach the necessary level of dedication. It's always shocking to me how little urgency mortals have around death.
That's an interesting one. He says, well, it's my fault, really. No. Once past the irritation, I could like this Brit blood doctor had quite a good, position for, yeah, really. Yeah. Well, yeah, and then he should be able to control, like, how they do their work. Right? So he's, like, trying to... I should have been able to recognize that one, and there I go, making a should statement. That's definitely a control thing, and I can relate to this because I'm often where this vampire is with my fellow students, where I'm just like, I'm trying to motivate them, and they don't want to be motivated, kind of thing. Let's try control fallacy here.
So it's all your fault that you haven't come up with the perfect synthetic blood.
And it's also your responsibility to motivate others?
The experience.
It can't be... No, it's not just you. Other people are involved and they have to take responsibility for their stuff.
Pardon me for saying so, Doc, but it sounds like what you're doing is pretty dang complicated. It sounds to me like you're some kind of god if you expect control over life itself.
Well, that's pretty accurate.
Please, I'm a scientist, not a spiritualist. It is not control I seek, but understanding.
Right, but you're trying to control your
You ever
situation.
gonna have perfect understanding?
Probably not. Not even if you live for like 10,000 years, bucko. You would probably still have things you don't know.
No, of course not. I'm not a wizard.
And wizards don't understand that either. Just ask my lore father. Not even he knows everything. Of course, he won't admit that. But you know.
So how about not putting saving the world on one person, Doc?
Yeah, sounds like a good idea.
That is a simplification, but I take your point. As I was saying, now that I'm addicted to my own drug, I have joined the ranks of mortal celebrities in my utter irrelevance.
Welcome in, welcome in. Good to have you. Okay, now that I'm addicted to my own... Okay. That sounds... I mean, it would be morning for you, so good morning. Nosferatu, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because it's like very, very black and white.
That's a pretty dark read on things. You know, lots of folks get over their addictions.
Yes, but they have to have a lot of support.
Yes, but not me.
Yes, you. Even you.
I'm trying to tell you that even if you are addicted, that ain't the end, hermano. You got a lot of life and opportunity left in you. If you can call this life.
Look what you've made of it so far.
Now hold on there. That's what I call Nosferatu thinking, straight from the coffin. Life ain't all black and white. It's got its shades of gray too, you know. Oh, well played, cowpoke. Perhaps I am being a little dramatic.
Really? Being a little dramatic.
Yes, I'm aware that in reality progress has been made, enough to get to this point. But I didn't come here to ask for a pat on the back and to be told I'm a good boy.
No, but you need to feel like what you've done is good. Up to 50 Shades, Ada. Maybe more than 50 Shades.
Ain't my department, but I hear they do some of that stuff downstairs. Yes, we all know very well that the Continentals are more sexually liberated than we are.
Wow.
But as I say, I don't want all this therapy stuff. I just want to stop using this damn drug.
Well, that's gonna take therapy, my friend. Runia, welcome in, dear. We're just doing more of the Vampire Therapist today.
So what's so good about this stuff anyway? Why do you like it?
See, that's a good question to ask if you are working in addictions, is you actually ask them, so what is it about this substance that keeps bringing you to it? What is it that you get from it?
I'm not certain.
Away from home for now, but I got battery left to tune in. Oh, wonderful. Well, don't feel like you need to stay for too long if you end up needing to save battery for other things, but glad to have you, dear. I'm not certain. I don't remember what happens after I take it, but I wake up feeling how do I put this? Alive. Okay, so it sounds like he likes the feeling of energy, liveliness, happiness, maybe.
Well, that don't sound so bad. A good nap can make me feel like a new man. I'm not talking about feeling refreshed. I mean I feel alive. As if I'm someone else. Someone who lives.
Okay, so it's literally addicted to that feeling of aliveness, energy. Well, I mean, that's kind of why I'm becoming a therapist, to help people kind of understand themselves more and, like, become a better version of themselves if that's what they want. My first rule of therapy is no one is broken. They're just not functioning optimally.
And I wake up and find, oh gracious me, I am not depressed.
Ah, so it's a fix for, like, the depressed feeling. Like, I feel sluggish, can't get out of bed, don't feel motivated. Okay. And this is why talking through stuff works. Because then your client will start elaborating more.
You mean to tell me that you're going to sleep depressed every night? Oh, nothing of the sort. Oh well, I'm glad to hear that. You are assuming that I can simply go to sleep and my global scientific enterprise will run itself.
No, we didn't say that, my dude. Well, I mean, so far as he feels about it for now. But we're gonna get to the bottom.
Oh wait just a gosh darn minute. You're telling me you don't sleep?
Oh dear. He's not sleeping at all, is he? Because he just said, well, you know, my scientific enterprise doesn't keep running itself. Oh dear. He might be way overworking himself.
Yes. It's not as though we can get much deader already, and I have work to do.
Oh dear. You need some sleep.
You're not sleeping, and you're always depressed. I think we're starting to get somewhere. Oh, don't be such a bumpkin. If you are a sapient individual, aware of the world around you, depression is the only sensible reaction. It has nothing to do with sleep.
I'm gonna think that's Nosferatu thinking again. Because basically it's still kind of in this one or the other thing, so I'm gonna go with this.
Come on now, it's a big world out there, and different things are depressing to different people.
Oh, that would be... I hope people in chat are getting way more sleep than just 2 hours. Man, how do you feel about this, having had to face this thinking yourself when it came to your group members? Wow, I'm really starting to realize I have a big thing with control fallacies, and my thinking can be a little bit black and white sometimes, despite me being able to have fun in some shades of gray. Well, I mean, at least that's good. At least 5. Of course, we will want people to get a little more. But this is really eye-opening. I'm really glad I'm playing this game.
Might even be a different degree of depressed.
And that's true, too. Not everybody reacts to the same thing in the same way, and there are, surprise, degrees of depression.
Well, I suppose I might have been using a bit of mild hyperbole.
Okay, then. At least you're aware of your tendency to do that.
Buckaroo.
Mild is putting it mildly. There you go.
Buckaroo? Now I'm even more depressed.
Oh, okay. You think, Mr. Rick?
Regardless, I didn't come here to be a whiner. Oh, boo-hoo, life is hard. Yes, we all know it's hard.
I mean, no one is saying that you did, and that's labeling yourself. You're not whining. You obviously came here because you needed to talk things out. That's not whining.
Now, why'd you say coming and talking to me makes you a whiner?
It's important to go talk to a therapist. It's other people who will label and project on you and call that whining. Why are you always whining, Louie? When maybe you actually need to go to therapy and talk about some stuff that's happened to you.
Is that not what I currently am?
No, you're actually expressing stuff. And for anyone that got that reference, you're a star little monster. Whining. If you guys know what that's from, you are gonna become a super special little monster.
Sounds to me like you're expressing yourself.
There you go.
Whiner is the word you used.
Actually, yes, Family Guy did do a with the like cool whip thing, but that's not actually what the line that I did was from. If you know, you know.
Yeah, if you want to call it whining, that's up to you. But that's entirely your label.
Or maybe a label he borrowed from someone else. Exactly right, Renfield. Whining. But see, Dr. Drain might have gotten that label from someone else early on in his life when he was trying to explain how he felt. Maybe his parents, maybe another family member called that whining. So then we would have to see, where did he get that label from? What makes him think that expressing himself is whining?
Oh, very well. Call it moaning or whinging if you prefer.
Still labels, my dude.
Moaning, whinging, belly aching, still all just labels. I don't believe I shall be using the term belly aching in any case.
Well, that's literally what my stomach's been doing.
But as I was saying, in the moments I wake up, I feel free. I suppose it must be what being an ignoramus feels like.
Well, I mean, there's like judgments there too, right? He's doing labeling there too. I think that's what he's doing. 'Cause it's not really... I mean, yeah, I guess, yes. Maybe. I suppose it must be what being an ignoramus feels like. I mean, we could try this again. It might be labeling again. We'll see. Nope.
So, for once in his life, he experiences a positive feeling and he immediately invalidates it. But
Oh!
diagnose him as
Oh. Okay, invalidation. Okay.
In the moments I wake up, I feel free. I suppose it must be what being an ignoramus feels like. So you're telling me you feel good when you wake up, and then you call yourself an ignoramus?
That's okay. That's a cool one. That's interesting. Okay. So yeah, that was him disqualifying. I feel good. And sneaky. See, I would have preferred this to that exam that I had last term that had a bunch of questions that were tricky, but even less, like, transparent.
Before you even get a chance to reflect on feeling good, you're insulting yourself.
That's what my real life mom does. A lot.
That's what I like to call disqualifying the positive. I'm simply stating facts. Stating facts shouldn't impede an argument.
But it's... Are you sure it's a fact?
What good is that fact doing it?
Quote, fact.
About as useful as an empty holster.
I mean, it's probably good to keep the brain sharp. Because I am getting more time to practice what some of these things are in the framework of this game. And my degree is kind of putting all that on the internship and practicum. So, you know what I'm going to treat this as? A pre-practicum. That's what I'm going to treat this like, since I didn't end up getting one this summer. This is going to be what I use in place of that. Just for practice.
Lest I somehow forget that you were a cowboy. About this drug, though. Oh, very well. I suppose I might be discounting my experience. I don't know how to say this, amigo. You really don't like letting yourself be happy.
That's true.
Honestly, I'm failing to see the problem with taking this stuff. Seems like it's making you get the rest you need, and it makes you feel good. What's the problem?
Well, I'm sure he's about to reveal it to us, because no substance like that is free of, like,
First of all,
negative
I
things.
need to rest.
Yes, you do.
Taking of this plasma does have downsides. What kind of downsides? I do not know what happens when I partake of the substance. However, when I wake up,
I mean, it's pretty...
I also smell of blood and sex.
What? Wait, let me read that again. I was distracted. However, when I wake up, I feel refreshed, but also smell of blood and sex. Oh my. So I think it's lowering his inhibitions.
Once I even woke up wearing a football jersey. It was most distasteful.
Oh my goodness. I think this synthetic blood is making him lively and possibly horny. That's what I think is going on here.
Having some kind of good time. That is not my idea of a good time. I'm Dr. Drain. I am intelligent and worldly, not some ill-bred monster.
Does sex make you an ill-bred monster? No. Sex is healthy, normal. It might just be good for you to remember your good times. Okay, so the blackout, Jekyll and Hyde, yes. Yes, very clever. Also, yeah, so with most counseling degrees, they don't really give you a lot of classes to practice that. So they kind of really do make you wait for the internship and practicum, which I really don't think is a good idea. I would much rather like to see some counseling classes that are all about having sessions and doing it over and over and over and over again.
I don't go gallivanting into godforsaken places to engage in depraved coitus and the consumption of dirty blood. It sounds to me like you're real good at denying yourself things.
Well, that's probably what's making him do all that when he's on the synthetic blood, because he's so repressed. Pointing out myself here also, because he's so focused on other things, he's not giving himself literally the time of day to go have his needs met. Yeah, so I mean that's kind of what I find to be problematic about some of the way these programs are made, is that they're designed with the idea that, oh yeah, you're gonna get all that practice in your practicum and internship. Granted, you should be getting your practice there, or more practice, but I honestly think these counseling programs should have more classes where the whole focus is, practical counseling sessions. Same as getting hired for a job. Yeah, pretty much. It's a disaster.
Well, I should be better at it.
There you go again.
You know, Doc, a wise old vampire recently told me something I'm about to tell you. You keep talking about the things you should be doing. You, compadre, are shooting all over yourself.
There you go. One of the favorite things in counseling is quit shooting on yourself. And I've had a lot of my professors tell me that. They're like, TV, you're really good at what you do. Don't be so hard on yourself.
Well, that is vivid, isn't it? I can now add incontinence to my already considerable list of faults.
You do not have a list of
I'm
faults.
serious. I'm listening to you tell me I should be doing this, and I shouldn't be doing that. But who gave you all them shoulds and shouldn'ts?
Good question. Way to go, Samuel.
I don't know. It shouldn't matter, should it?
It does matter. Who did you get those from?
It's the oldest stuff that sticks with us, amigo. We all got traumas.
We all got stuff that we pick up along the way like sticky labels. Who did you get those from?
Heck, we're dead men. That's traumatic no matter what. What we gotta start with is you. You've been through a lot. Don't rope yourself up so tight. Listen, we're doing good work already, I know it. Now, let's not push too hard. I would really like you to think about where all them shoulds are coming from before we meet again.
Good homework, Samuel. Love it.
And be good to yourself, all right, partner? Don't feel like you gotta go cold turkey on that plasma stuff. Yes, well, all the same, I'd rather not do it at all. Is that actually gonna happen, though?
Right. Because here, Sam's doing a good job of being a little bit realistic and saying, realistically, you're probably not going to quit cold turkey, are you? So then we need to look at how we can support you lessening the amount of substance that you're using, if that's something we need to start looking at. But then we need more information in order to come up with a plan for that.
It might. You're dipping into it tonight, aren't you? I was thinking about it.
We do have to ask those questions. We do have to say, so are you feeling like you might do some tonight?
All right, partner. Just give yourself a little compassion. That's all I'm asking.
There you go.
I'll admit, you've given me some things to think about. Not pleasant ones, mind.
No, because let's be real. Therapy can be good for somebody, but a lot of the things that we might have to look at are not pleasant. But on the other side, the idea is that you will have more peace of mind, more compassion, and more self-awareness.
You can handle it, partner. You're way smarter than I am. Yes, well, that is certainly true. Very well. I shall do some reflecting, in as much as our kind can reflect.
You can do a lot, my dude. You're gonna be fine.
I shall see you in precisely 4 weeks, then. Farewell, Sam.
Gotta peel off the Band-Aid sometime. And for some clients, we need to do it gently, and for some other clients, they're just ready to go in there and rip it off. It's all about kind of listening to their pace.
Masterfully done, Samuel.
Yay! First Blood, Part 2, the achievement.
Well, that was a hell of a rush. That fella's holding on tighter than a holster to a gunslinger's hip.
I felt it too, Sam. Even though I don't have a gun, I felt it there. That's pretty tense. But I like it. That's why I like this line of work. Yes, it's intimidating for the therapist and for the person seeking therapy. But like the dynamic alchemy that can happen in here, it's like nothing else.
It felt real good to help him look at himself a little more kindly.
Good, Samuel. Treasure this feeling. But also rest. Go downstairs, get something to drink, relax in your coffin.
Good point.
Next week you shall see a new client. I think they will be an interesting challenge for you.
Ooh, boy. An interesting challenge. Yes, I do get a rush. That's kind of why I'm in counseling, because I love that click. I love that beautiful moment where the things unlock and you get to see this beautiful treasure within. And it just sparkles. And you can see this moment where the client is like, oh, I can be compassionate to myself. I can change the way I'm doing things. Oh, I'm addicted to that in a good way. It's what motivates me to work so damn hard.
I bid you good evening, Samuel. Rest in peace.
You too, Andy. Well, I guess it's time I got me some grub. That's it, I guess. My first client. Can't believe I'm doing this therapy stuff all
That's gonna be me. Oh yeah, save. Good idea. I forget because I don't put the save button like right in my field of vision, so I forget that it doesn't just like auto save or something. Thank you for the reminder, dear.
Sure could use a drink. I'll check in with Crimson.
Well, if it isn't Yosemite Sam.
Yosemite's.
Better already hearing from someone from the States who knows the lingo.
I'm not from any states, cowpoke. District of Columbia girl here.
Nice.
I figured you must have been coastal. You sound a little more polished than I do.
You should hear my German.
I want to hear it. Speak German to me, baby.
Maybe some other time.
No, do it.
I had my first therapy session with a real client.
Oh, yeah? How do you think it went?
Well enough.
I reckon it was a bullseye on my end. You should have seen me. Labeling, blam, disqualifying the positive, kapow.
I want him to feel a little confident about that.
I'm glad to hear it. Someone has got to sort these vamps out. They know how to hold on to their problems.
Yes. We can be, as my wise father used to say, people can be pretty attached to their garbage. And they can just spend years and years and years carrying around this stinky old sack of stuff. And then they keep wondering what smells and what's hurting their back and what's weighing them down. Well, it's all this stuff they haven't dealt with and that they're not letting go, is how my wise Tiefling father used to put it. Well, you'd be surprised how attached people are to their stuff.
You ain't kidding.
Even if it doesn't work.
70, they get pretty dang set in their ways.
That's kind of true, unless you do the work to keep an open mind.
You know Andy still uses a typewriter?
I love typewriters.
Man to see the light. Keep it up, cowboy. You're a breath of fresh air for these ancient ones.
Anyone ever tell you you're wise beyond your years, Crimson? You must have had some life.
Afraid I'm exactly as wise as my years. How old do you think I am, cowboy?
Oh boy, don't fall for the trap. I'm surprised it doesn't say like Forever 21 up here or something.
I'm gonna do the gentlemanly thing and not hazard a guess.
You would have gotten it wrong anyway. 50 years young.
Oh my lord. That must mean you're a vampire, doesn't it?
50? I tied around that age and I looked like shit. What you mean a vampire?
Like I told you, I'm Andy's blood partner.
Ooh, so she's like a half vampire, like Damphir or something. Not quite, but like immortalized.
I've been 30 for a good while now.
I've been 30 for a good while now. Okay, cool.
But you ain't joining our team? Sounds like a story.
Not for tonight, buckaroo. I bet you're thirsty after a big night.
Yes, we are.
Andy told me to give this to you.
Oh yeah? What is it?
Ooh, a blood bottle.
We had a group of Americans come in last week who donated their blood.
I love that. Collie, can you get a screen clip of this? I want to use this as like a reference for something. That's really neat. Well, I guess I could try to get it on my end too. Hold on. Okay, yeah, I got one too. Just in case. I forgot. It's easy to take clips.
Andy can't stand the stuff. glucose levels.
Oh, of course.
But he thought
Because most Americans were super sweet, right? No, we're actually diabetic.
Oh, it ain't so bad. I gotta ask though, what does Andy's blood taste like?
Good question. I want to know what that tastes like too. Does it taste like the Mediterranean diet? Like, does it taste really rich or really smoky, really sweet? I want to know.
to me, it tastes like life itself, cowboy.
Ooh.
I ain't sure I understand.
Never you mind. Look, Tex, I've got some customers to serve, so go enjoy your juice, okay?
Juice. Puncture his neck like a juice box.
You have yourself a fine night, Crimson.
There he is, my incredible protege.
Come on now, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Samuel, stop. Yeah, you do.
Evidence stands against that reasoning, my friend. Do we need to talk about disqualifying the positive again?
All right, I get it. I guess I've been muddling through okay.
You've been doing wonderfully. I hope you are ready for a bit of a challenge tonight.
Oh boy, okay.
Your next client has been known to be somewhat difficult.
Alright, I guess we're gonna be prepared, and this is why client notes and intake forms are important, so we get kind of a good idea of maybe some stuff that we might be dealing with. Well, I'd venture it tastes like whatever he drinks, especially if smells of food float. Yeah, so it might be like whatever he had last.
Form.
Isabella Desday. Dang, she's got some funny tasting hats.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to read this in the journal where I have a bigger screen, so I can actually see more of this, because it's a bit small for me.
I think you should get along quite well then.
Walked right into that one.
Isabella is not your average vampire. She was once the powerful matriarch of one of the most influential families in Europe. She fraternized with popes and kings, and she also wielded great power over the art world. Some say that she was the model for the Mona Lisa.
Oh, interesting.
One of them highfalutin types, huh? I don't think she's gonna like me much.
Okay, so let's read this a bit closer. So she's 550 years old, female, origin, Renaissance, was a figure in the Italian Renaissance, funding the works of Leonardo da Vinci, Andrea, and Michelangelo. She received a humanist education, right? Which is kind of the old way of saying like arts, politics, and stuff, history, art, music, and philosophy. She comes from a highly aristocratic background, but has endured considerable family issues throughout the generations. She states that she is undergoing an existential immorality. Okay, an existential crisis. Okay, so a search for meaning. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I'm like a big fan of existentialism, which is all about meaning making, and that as human beings, we are inherent meaning makers. So we can either make bad meaning out of something or good meaning out of something, and it just really depends on our interpretation. Suggestion, be exceedingly polite. Okay, so we're not going for a confrontation thing with this one. We have to really be kind of gentle with her.
As genuine as any of us, Samuel. I already know you will find a way to relate with her.
Well, yeah, because Samuel had his own search for meaning, right? He technically had his own, quote, existential crisis when he first became a vampire. And remember, yesterday he said that was something he wanted to help other vampires understand, is how to get through that sense of like meaninglessness, purposelessness.
If you say so.
Remember, you can always seek my advice if you feel lost. You are not alone. But I hear the beating of elegant wings. Breathe, Samuel.
Always a good reminder. Right before a counseling session. Deep breath. I'm imagining your Lord Father sending you clients and gals from across the... Collie, save that. That just gave me shivers. Let's do it.
Oh, and do be polite.
Of course. Yes, I like.
Goodness. So you are the new therapist Andromachos told me of. I was not expecting someone so rugged.
Good evening, ma'am.
Sam Walls at your service, ma'am.
You are a therapist.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's what I'm here for, ma'am.
Enough with this, ma'am. I am not running a whorehouse. You may call me Senora.
Okay, very well, senora. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm gonna go with this third one because it sounds more phonetically correct. Senora. I'm gonna go with that because it sounds closer. Because these don't sound right at all.
All right, Senora.
I hate this so much.
You have seen my what? Have you been peeking under my skirts, young man?
Oh no. No.
What are you talking about, lady?
Oh no.
Senora.
Senora.
Signora.
Oh no. Sam.
Senora. Senora.
Sam.
Signora?
Porca miseria. This is not going to be easy, is it?
No. I'm sorry.
Therapy ain't never easy, Senora.
So, therapy is always easy then.
No, it's not. Howdy. Welcome in, Uncle Scully. How are you?
I said it ain't never easy, Senora.
Thank you, dear. Apparently my Twitch is like no links. Do you want to send it to me on Discord?
Is therapy easy or is it not?
It's not easy. Not.
I guess.
Oh, how are we to examine my inner demons if your own speech is so diabolical?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Patience. Patience.
You know what? Let's start over. Greetings and salutations, Senora. I am most honored to receive you in my humble office.
Very well. I suppose it will do.
There you go. Sometimes it just takes a restart if something happens like that. And that is something we are encouraged to do if something kind of gets off the rails. I watched the Epic the Musical for the first time ever yesterday. That's really cool. Sounds like you enjoyed it.
I'm just here to help, Senora. It says here on your intake forms that you've been having a tough time lately.
A tough time. Indeed, yes, it has been a tough time. The realization that not only am I a corpse, but that I have been a useless corpse for nearly 400 years is a tough time.
Oh, okay. We have another one like, wow, I've had so much time and I've done nothing with it. Oh boy. Okay.
So what set off this feeling that you're a corpse?
I saw a film at the cinema.
Hey, I love the cinema.
Hollywood glamour, maybe? Or movies? What do you think, chat? She looks like she's all into the glamour stuff. And Hollywood glamour would be close-ish to like a sort of Renaissance thing. Oh, well, thank you for stopping by. I kind of know how some hyperfixations are. I can get that way a little bit with certain things. I am a vampire hybrid, after all. But anyway, welcome in, dear. I think we're going to do Hollywood glamour, because that seems to fit. Thank you so much.
I can't get enough Hollywood. All that glitz and glamour. Them celebrities sure know how to look good.
Per favore, they look like employees of a peacock Prado.
Okay. I guess maybe. Wings. Thank you. No, you're fine.
The battle between licentiousness and chastity has ended, and chastity has been utterly degraded on the battlefield.
Okay, then. So maybe Hollywood wasn't the best comparison.
Ashamed
Okay.
of themselves, parading their young flesh for the adulation of fools.
I can relate, sort of.
I could teach them about proper fashion, but alas, they would be incapable of hearing my wisdom.
That's not true, madam. Or senora. How about if you tried giving them your wisdom?
I can tell I'm barking up the wrong tree here. Let's go back to this movie you saw at the cinema.
It was a most terrible film, one that shook me to my core. The pain of it.
Okay.
Still 5 years
She probably would have a lot to say about VTubers. She would probably be like, where is the art form? Where is the dignity? And all that.
Well, movies can be pretty powerful. Heck, I remember seeing one of the first films. There was a train coming right for the audience. We thought we were dead for sure.
This film was not powerful, it was meaningless. It said nothing, did nothing, less than nothing, as loudly and garishly as possible.
Wow. Okay.
And the audience, fools that they were, cheered, applauded this desecration of the mind.
I hate to admit it, but I can, like, there are some things that I might agree with her on some, but yeah, this is definitely Nosferatu thinking. And this is definitely, yeah, she's definitely got a lot of that going on.
I hate this film with all my being, for it has done the cruelest thing. It has revealed the dark truth. This life that I cling to has no
Yes. Well, and that's the thing, Senora. You make your own meaning. The reason the movie is so cruel is maybe it's done the opposite of what you actually believe, which is that life has meaning. Otherwise, why would you be so disturbed by it? It got you to question, what if there is no meaning? Well, here's the catch. If you make life have no meaning, then it will have no meaning.
Dang, what the heck was this movie?
Space Wars. Rise of the Space Walker.
Why would that? Okay, I need to hear more.
Well, wait a minute. Space Wars, the big science fiction franchise?
Okay, Star Wars.
Yes, I believe it is important to understand modern media diets.
But that's the movie that gave you your personal crisis?
Mind your tone. Do not think me a fool.
I'm not, Senora. I just want to know, what about it made you start having these feelings?
But the money it made, it would make even the Pope blush.
Wait a minute. I figured it out. So because she comes from the Renaissance, which was like the height of human art and stuff. Like, I figured it out. So she comes from a time and a place where art and music and poetry and all that stuff was like revolutionary. And she feels like nowadays that kind of fashion doesn't make any money. And so she's like having a crisis, being like, but I remember a time when other stuff was valued. And yet this thing, Space Wars, this thing that's not even close to Renaissance stuff, made all this money. That's her crisis. I can really identify with that. I understand. I think that's where she might be going. Sayadon, welcome in, dear.
This stinking trash. This is what the people want. You see, I understand now. My attempts to infuse art with meaning were pointless.
Oh,
All that I am,
damn.
all I ever was, is dead.
Oh, God. Oh. I feel that. Yeah. Right? Is it similar to VTubers being, yeah, for the money? Yeah. I think that's disqualifying all the positive things that she could still do with her art. And maybe she should take a risk to educate people about her experience with art. I'm going to go with disqualifying the positive on this. Oh, no.
For such a complicated woman, the answers are overly simple for Signora Deste, are they not, Samuel?
Oh, okay, it wasn't that.
You see, I understand now. My attempts to infuse art with
Oh, okay, it might be the black and white.
all that I am, all that I ever was, is dead.
Okay, it's black and white.
You don't seem that dead to me. We're having this conversation, ain't we? You ain't just lying there decomposing.
True.
It is no different. I might as well be rotting in the ground.
I think you might get pretty bored.
Are you getting smart with me, boy?
No, but I'm saying, like, you've just polarized the situation and made it meaningless because you looked at this other franchise and were like, that's it. All they have to do is put slop on the table and that's good enough?
Look, I'm just talking facts. If you're saying all you are is dead, I think you might be doing some Nosferatu thinking. It ain't black and white. You're here. But let's go back to what you were saying.
Once I elevated art.
See, that's what I was saying.
Benefited. Why have I lost my power to elevate art now?
Huh, okay.
It was all for nothing. What good was guiding Da Vinci when they sell the Mona Lisa on beer coasters?
That's disqualifying the positive, I think. Because she's basically saying none of it was any good because it's now on some freaking beer packaging.
Come on now. Just because the Mona Lisa's been on a coaster doesn't mean that's all it's ever been for. I think you might be downplaying just what an impact you've had on the world.
The world needs no help from me to reduce my life's efforts to cheap commodities.
I can feel that.
So just because something gets printed on a t-shirt, that cancels out everything that's good about it?
Yes, that is exactly what it does.
And I thought I was good at disqualifying the positive.
It should not be so. Art should have meaning, purpose. Beauty should expose truth.
That's a should statement, but I agree with her on that one. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. So as a counselor, I would say, oh, that's really good to know that that's what motivates you. Have you ever thought about doing that more? It is a should statement, but I think it's a positive one here.
You're saying art should have meaning and purpose, but does all art need those things?
In my mind, yes. But,
What is the purpose of creation otherwise?
How about if I just like doodling? Ain't that a good enough reason to...
I mean, sure, but, like, that's a hobby, and I think that she's thinking about art as more than a hobby,
It
basically.
is a pointless reason.
Oh, maybe I want to do something pointless. All I'm saying is that I don't have the same shoulds you do.
But I think some of those are positive, and I think she should be supported in recognizing that that's something that matters to her. Because I think the existential crisis for her is having to realize that for some people, art seems to have become pointless. So I think as her counselor, I would say these are good things to notice about yourself. And maybe this is a good calling for you to get re-involved in art.
Perhaps you should.
But I don't. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do.
Which is speak like a peasant.
Heck, that's what I am, Senora. Ain't nothing gonna change that reality. Let's get back to what you were saying.
But it seems I am just a dead woman. A walking corpse who is not worth listening to.
That's your belief. That's not the reality, madam.
The Lady d'Este certainly does not use kind terms to describe
Oh, labels, doy.
But it
Labels.
seems I am just a dead woman.
Now, why
There we
don't you
go.
call yourself names?
They are not names. They are my reality.
Right, but you're shaping your reality by what you're naming yourself. Oh, I'm just a dead woman. I'm just no one anyone will listen to. No one cares. No one can understand me.
Is that all you are?
This is how I am defined by the world.
Seems to me you're the one using them names. Hell, I think I'd be a little afraid of calling you a corpse.
As you should be. Allow me to continue.
Just a sec, Senora. You're a smart lady, but you've been saying some stuff that just ain't true. Let's go over what you just said.
You see, I understand now. My attempts to infuse art with meaning were pointless.
Oh, yes,
All
very
that I
much.
am, all that I ever was is dead. Once, I elevated art, and all the world benefited. Why have I lost my power to elevate art now?
Okay, so once she was able to do that, and now she believes that she has no control over the situation to do it again. So that's
All the world benefited? There's a lot of people, and they got a lot of different preferences. You can't get them all, can you?
yes.
But I could, once upon a time.
You can't reach everybody, Senora. I hadn't even heard of the Mona Lisa until about 1911.
Did you have any schooling whatsoever?
No, I didn't. But I don't think anyone in my time knew about the Mona Lisa either.
Oh, how wonderful. You add to my despair.
Oh no, Sam.
I'm saying you can't reach everyone, even in your own time.
That's true. That's a good thing to keep in mind.
That is true. I doubt the rabble had much of an opinion about the so-called great masters.
We only know what we know. But you were saying,
You know, you make me sound rather mad. Like an old woman railing at the world, screaming into the void, all to no purpose.
Senora, with all due respect, are you sure you're not just doing that a little teensy tiny bit?
look, Senora, all I'm trying to do is show you where you're a little rigid in your thinking is all. You're expecting a lot from the world and a lot from yourself. It ain't no surprise that you're gonna be disappointed over and over again.
I suppose that is some insight. Indeed, I have been in a state of disappointment from the moment I was 16.
Wow. So, you are still dealing with stuff that you had as a teenager.
When you were 16.
I got married.
Oh dear. Okay. So I think this might also lead to her sense of like meaninglessness or like not having power really, because back in her day, like women, they didn't have the same choice.
I think I get it.
You absolutely do not get it. You are a man.
Well then, help me understand.
Good point there. And it's fair for our clients to say, no, I don't think you get it. And then the proper response is for us to say, okay, then I would love for you to help me understand.
Frankie, my husband, he taught me the meaning of disappointment. He taught me the world was built upon lies. These things men proclaim as values. Truth, beauty, the spiritual.
Ooh,
moral
okay.
perfection. But if men did not live according to principle, I would. I would set the example and shame them all.
I can understand that.
Yet, what a fool I have been to think humanity had greater aims.
So, what's this greater aim you're talking about?
I received a humanist education as a child. I was taught that the pathway to God was through rationality and a questioning mind, not slavish devotion to tradition. This world is not Eden, but it could be. Or so I thought.
So you're talking about a literal pathway to God?
No, fool. A pathway to godliness. To live according to our natures. Our true natures.
I hate all of these answers. I'm not gonna answer being a nudist because she's just gonna freak on me. And I don't think it's the second one either, because I don't think she's been a vampire for that long, so. Okay, little monsters, protect mommy. She's about to put her face first in the blender.
Oh, you mean being Italian?
Madre de Dio, what are you talking about? What is an Italian?
I mean, it was the less offensive option, so I had to go with it.
I care nothing of nations and their petty squabbles. Like mortals, they die and are forgotten.
Oh, sorry. I just figured on account of the accent and all.
What accent?
Oh, no, Sam!
Never mind. Will, talk to me about this pathway to God. How do you reckon we find this path?
I reckon nothing. I've always known that we can find our way back to God by fulfilling our human potential to be the greatest souls possible.
Okay. Okay, I think that's a control fallacy again. Because it basically says, by doing this, we can become this. And it also has some things that in counseling I would ask my client, what does being the greatest soul possible mean to you? What does that mean? So, because this is about human potential, I'm gonna still think it's control, right? Because it's about reaching godliness or having the ability to do that. Perhaps it could also be black and white, because it's like I know, but she probably would have bit my head off though. Oh yeah. I keep forgetting I can save right before choices. I need to start doing that now, so I have the option. I'm going to say, I'm going to go with this and see if that's right or not.
You really think we've got that much control, Senora? All we got to do is be perfect, and then we've got our pathway to the Almighty.
Yeah, see, that's what was making me think it's control fallacy. Because it's like, only this way can we achieve, like, the power to reach our potential. Well, but we have to define what that potential is for each of ourselves, right? And we gotta make sure that we are not just putting ourselves in a never-ending I'm not good enough because I failed.
Yes, it seems quite clear to me.
Senora, if that's how it is, it ain't no wonder you ain't forgiving yourself or anyone for the slightest mistakes. I would ask myself if anyone really has that much control. But keep talking.
I have always known we must master ourselves and our baser instincts. Virtue must triumph over vice.
I think that's Nosferatu thinking. That's very black and white. We have to do, but it's also about like controlling that stuff. Okay, so I think it might be another control fallacy again. I'm gonna just save because I keep forgetting. Okay, I'm gonna say it's Nosferatu here because that seems very black and white, but it could be. Okay, no.
There have been many entities over time that have tried to
Okay, I should have gone with my first instinct, the same as in counseling. My teachers always tell me that. They're like, Tiffy, go with your first instinct.
I have always known we must master ourselves and our baser instincts.
You've been around a while, Senora. In all that time, when have we mastered ourselves and our baser instincts?
Never. Not really. I mean, talk to the VTuber community. What do you...
Especially have no bottom to their depravity.
Oh, boy. Well, that's like a label.
Fair enough. So us fellas have disappointed you every day for a few hundred years, right? Ain't that proof that nothing you do is gonna change that?
An evil thought, Mr. Sam Walls, but true, I concede.
We're in agreement then. It's a little bit of a control fallacy. Do you think that's gonna change because of you?
Right? Like, you're not someone who's gonna change all the little evil things in the world, or all those certain men or women or people out there who are
Let's keep going.
gonna be doing that stuff.
I've always known that the earthly lives we lead are disgusting, and only war and death can come of them.
Okay, that's Nosferatu thinking.
Now, hold up just a sec there, cowpoke. You really think all we can do is sow death and destruction?
That's what you thought in the beginning.
I do not poke cows.
Poke cows.
Farmer.
I mean, here's the thing. I think what they're saying is she's trying to put it all on herself. And that if not even her presence is godly enough to stop all of that, I think really what it is taking away that unreasonable responsibility from her. I think that she may still have a job to do of critiquing that part of society, which is maybe why she should get back into art. Maybe that's one way she could do it. Is not make it her one and only mission, but maybe some of that could be channeled into her art, into music, into writing, into painting.
Come on, Senora. You've been alive to see what? 15, 20 billion people live and die? You really saying death and destruction is all each and every one of them ever amounted to?
That's pretty reductionist of them and of you, actually, Senora.
Well, perhaps not individually, but as an immortal, I look at the greater arc of history.
Yes, which can sometimes make everything look like inconsequential ants. I mean, and that's basically what they brought up earlier in the session, that she said, well, I could try to educate these Hollywoodites, but they wouldn't listen. Well, how sure are you that they wouldn't listen? She could maybe tap that if she gave it a chance, if she wasn't so Nosferatu in her thinking, and so disqualifying of her own skill.
Well, most of us ain't looking to contribute to the greater arc of history, but that don't mean life's pointless. That's some Nosferatu thinking, I'll tell you what. But let's continue.
I have always known the people have become fat and lazy, and living within the Garden of Eden is impossible in such a state.
Well, okay, there's like labeling, but then there's like Nosferatu thinking in there as well. Yeah, I'm gonna say maybe it's Nosferatu thinking again. Nope. Oh, not this time.
Good at coming up with names for others.
Okay, labels. That was the most important thing to call out here.
I have always known the people have become fat and lazy. And
Okay.
living within the Garden of Eden.
Again, I need to trust my gut with that one. But finally, I have finished reading every chapter of Solo Leveling, and I'm ready for the next. Very cool. Awesome. This brings me back to my days of being a fan of art house films and surrealist works.
Sounds to me like you're coming up with labels for kicking people out of the Garden of Eden.
Well, that too.
Is that all we amount to? Fat and lazy?
Look around your own country, boy. Look at me. See my disgusting rolls and saggy features.
Madam, you still got some good things going for you.
Would you let me into the
Yes.
Garden of Eden?
Well, sure, why the heck not?
I am glad you are not the gatekeeper.
Wow, you have a perfectionist distortion. Yes, which is kind of the point, right? Where you have to think a bit more.
You rather have a gatekeeper who wouldn't let you in? Listen, Senora, you gotta go easy on yourself with them labels. Well, let's keep talking, though.
I have always known we should act with dignity if we would take our place at God's side once more.
I think this here's the meat of it, Senora.
That's definitely a should statement, because should's in there. That's an easy one. Filet mignon. Oh no.
I fear your French is even worse than your Italian.
Here's the thing, Senora. Who came up with all them shoulds that'll take you to God?
Why, the greatest thinkers of history that I studied in my youth. Plato, Aristotle, Cicero, Aquinas.
Yes, and do you think they had touch with everything that was going on in society? Do you think they had much to do with other parts of society? Yeah, they knew a lot. They're amazing for their time, but they are also an artifact of their time.
Sounds like a bunch of dead guys to me. They really had it all figured out way back when, huh?
Well, of course not. How foolish do you think me?
Not at all, Senora. Just questioning where all them shoulds are coming from. But let's keep going.
So you think you are so very clever, do you, boy? That by pointing out my distortions...
No, we're not. Madam, we're not in a battle.
That is where you are truly the fool. I already know how wrong I have been, that I have been chasing an impossible fiction all my life.
So what that means is we can tweak the story a little bit and you can still pursue what matters to you, but maybe not with all this baggage and all this stress and all this sadness and frustration.
Indeed, I now believe that even if we did follow the pathway to God, once we reach the end, we would discover that he, too, was a work of fiction.
I mean, that's possible too. But what kind of meaning would a realization like that give you? Would that give you meaning enough to continue on?
When I say God, I mean goodness, propriety, intelligence. God himself is a lie.
I see. So you've lost your faith.
Yes, it has crumbled to dust, much like myself in this fat, wretched old body.
Madam, please be kinder to yourself.
Lies. Ideas developed by ugly men to justify their existence.
I mean, I'm not gonna argue with where that came from, but I'm not gonna ask you to think about what ways in which you might want to start reconsidering that.
When we occupy ourselves chasing those ideals, they create space wars to leech our money and our vitality. And to think they call me judgmental while they created the false ideal to judge against. You don't think I'm judgmental, do you, boy?
You are pretty judgmental, Senora. I'm gonna say yes, absolutely.
I wouldn't put it that way exactly. Besides, I ain't gonna call you names. In fact, that's where I think I want to challenge you. Senora, I think the person you're judging more than anyone is yourself.
I mean, maybe she did, but you have to remember, maybe her husband ruined her girl boner. You know? It's possible. It's possible she had much more kind things to say about men before her husband.
I know you got raised with all them high ideals, so of course you're getting disappointed when nobody can reach them. That's some heavy pressure. Not just on them, but on yourself.
Mostly on yourself. And that's what they say in counseling. The harder you are on yourself, meaning the less self-compassion you are capable of, how are you going to be compassionate to other people?
I'd ask yourself what all that pressure's doing for you. Is it bringing you any satisfaction?
Well, in its current form, no. But if she could tweak that a little bit, it might give her some new motivation to pursue art, music, teaching, anything like that. Also, what about the husband that disappointed her? Makes you wonder what happened to him. Because she hasn't brought him up again. So I wonder if he died or...
We can't always control what things are gonna be.
This is not acceptable.
Hold on, I know this one.
Wait.
Actually mean it's unacceptable to not be in control of it.
Oh! Brain, hello, you missed the whole control part, do
Say
you?
that again, Senora?
She has a whole control thing. Hello? She ate him. She's not... She cannot get over her control thing.
Some bad news
She's
for you,
having a
Senora.
really hard
None of us
time.
really has the power to
That
change
he was
the
based
world.
on
Not even
his
clever
desires.
like yourself.
Yes, or that he had a problem with the way that she was, or any number of those
Find a way
things.
to accept the world for what it is.
But the world is base and unworthy.
Okay, madam, we need to start making that thing a little more flexible.
That term I told you about, Nosferatu thinking. You're gonna strip all the color out of the world if you keep doing that. The world's a lot more than just base and unworthy.
Yeah, it's creativity, kindness, love, joy.
Nosferatu thinking. I am not used to having my own thoughts thrown back at me.
Well, that's why you're here, ain't it? I ain't gonna help you change the world, Senora. All I can do is help you find some other perspective.
Right, so there are certain things in the world we can change, and for those that we can't, we need to accept that we can't change them, but we can change how we think about them, and that's what therapy can help us do.
There is a certain simpleton's wisdom in the way you speak.
Thanks, I guess.
Very well, boy. I will consider what you have said. We will meet again in exactly 4 weeks. Do we have an understanding?
Yes, Signora.
Yes, indeed, Senora.
Ugh. Please learn to speak properly.
He's trying, okay.
Well done, Samuel. I believe you handled Senora Deste quite well.
You kidding? That lady straight up hates my guts.
No, she's struggling.
Samuel, if Isabella Deste hated your guts, she would not be shy about
And
it.
she would have probably left already, Sam.
That I believe.
Older we get, the harder it is to gain a different perspective. Have patience. We are not all as wise as Samuel Walls.
Guess it's just that simpleton's wisdom, as the Signora called it.
Do not adopt her labels, Samuel. I will not stand for it.
And I won't sit for it.
I know she was a challenge, but you rose to it as I knew you would. I think you deserve a night of hard drinking. What do you say?
Why hard drinking? How about just light?
You don't need to tell me twice.
I'm gonna have some tea. That's definitely not gonna put me under the table. Or is it?
Indeed, Samuel. Enjoy yourself. Excellent work tonight. Rest in peace.
So I would say we did pretty good. It brings up the
Enough abuse for one night. I could use a drink and a quiet night.
it brings up something really important as a therapist. Number one, attentive listening skills are very important because something might slip by you. And also having some time to decompress after sessions is very important, which is actually why most therapists say try not to have sessions back to back if you can help it, just so that you have time to decompress from a session, because when a client comes in with that much strong emotion, we really need to do extra work on ourselves to make sure that we don't carry that in to working with anyone else.
Hey, cowboy. Why the long face?
That was a rough session.
I used to say the same thing to my princess.
Your daughter.
My horse, actually.
Oh, my horse.
But I still like telling it to her.
Aww.
You didn't answer my question, Gunslinger. What's got you down?
Or if you can't help it and have to do the 9 all the way to 5, then really make sure to party afterward and decompress. Have a little elven kush. Do a little happy juice. You know, have a good dinner.
Oh, I just finished up with my second client. She gave me a tongue lashing to remember her by. You ever talk to someone who's so educated and refined that they make you feel like a space alien?
So this is why, as therapists with clients, we also need to make sure that we are also not the ones being like using super educational terms that might make our clients feel alienated. So that's also a good reminder for us to remain as down to earth as possible.
Everyone I ever met in law school. At least until I learned to speak their language.
You're a lawyer?
Was, and no, I wasn't the blood-sucking kind before you start with the vampire jokes.
Vampire jokes and lawyers. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna be doing actual good for you self-care, it really should be. Also, I need to check over on my YouTube side and make sure things are still going on over there. Here, I'm gonna send myself a message so that I can make sure, okay, it is working. Because I've had it happen where I think it's working and then it's not working and I don't see messages.
But I get what you're talking about. People can use language like a membership card. You don't speak the lingo, you don't get in.
Right, so this is also where we have to learn to adapt to our clients. It's not always that we have to speak their language literally, but in the case where there is a language barrier, we might need the assistance of an interpreter, or it's incumbent on us to get more education for certain groups of people that we know we are not very well acquainted
Well,
with.
that's just what I mean. I just ain't sure I've got the lingo for a
Hi, Reaper. I see your message.
woman.
Well, how do you think your session went? Think she heard you?
Well, she did say that I'd given her some stuff to think about. And to tell the truth, she seemed kind of embarrassed about that.
So it means you got through to her on some level, despite some really awkward things. You were still able to maintain enough of a relationship with her, enough rapport, as we say in therapy, that she didn't just straight up leave. So you kept with her enough to show her you are listening to me.
So what? If she heard you, I'd take the W, cowboy.
Take the W. What, the wagon?
The win, Gramps.
No.
Maybe she isn't gonna relate to you, but that doesn't mean she can't hear you.
Right. So Crimson's making a good point here. Just because we can't relate one-to-one with each other doesn't mean a person hasn't heard you. And that's the most important thing about therapy, is that you sit with the client the best you can and listen the best you can. And it's okay if a client corrects you. It's okay if they say, no, actually what I meant was this. It's okay that they do that. Because people come from a lot of scenarios where they've learned it's not okay. So actually, as counselors, we encourage people to give us feedback, even in session. It's why we're taught to phrase things like, so what I'm hearing is that you're feeling underappreciated because of your art. Does that resonate with you? Or does that seem right to you? So we're taught to offer an interpretation, but put a question at the end of it so that the client can say, yes, that's absolutely right, or no, it's not right, it's more like this.
You're probably right. I guess I'll take the W. And while you're at it, I'll take some B too. That's blood, see?
Move for men.
Men? Women? Wait, they separate blood that way? A little off the beaten path. What exactly would that be, ma'am? I want to know.
I think I'll have some takeaway tonight. What have you got?
Here, try this. Should put some color in those cheeks.
What are you giving me? Is it female blood? Is it blood on a bunch of sugar?
You really ain't squeamish, huh, Crimson?
Nah, healthy blood never hurt anyone. I've been hanging around vampires for 20 years, and they aren't so scary.
No, at least the friendly ones aren't.
Not even Bert.
What, that old pointy-eared teddy bear?
A pointy-eared teddy bear.
Unless someone gets aggressive or touchy with the customers.
Yeah, then he's not so nice. What would even be off the beaten path? Animal blood? That's what I'm thinking. Like, are we talking livestock blood or?
What does he do then?
They get a stern warning.
Sure, and probably thrown off the premises.
And if they don't listen?
Why, then he eats them.
Oh my, he eats them. Wow, okay.
Well, maybe he is a teddy bear. I met Teddy Roosevelt back in the night, and I'm pretty sure he would have done the same thing.
Oh my goodness.
Speaking of which, I gotta thirst something fierce. I think I'll head back to my coffin for a little rest. But you have a good night, Crimson.
You two
I still want to know what the blood is off the beaten path. Don't let the Draculas bite. Oh my goodness. I see your cute little emote, Reaper. Thanks for being over there on YouTube's.
Time to crack open a warm one.
A warm one? I love that. The opposite of beer. Let's see if the same movie's still playing on the TV.
Now, maybe I can find a quote from one of my favorite books that'll help give me a little inspiration. Or I could watch the Three Stooges hit each other a whole bunch.
The Three Stooges. This is like as good as Valhalla. I actually played some of that game way back in the day before I became a VTuber. It's a pretty good game. I've thought about maybe doing something with it sometime.
Or I could just go to sleep. What's it gonna be, Sammy boy?
Can I turn on the television? I want to see what's on TV. Oh, but Thoreau! No. We should read this.
My profession.
Walden. Yes, I've read this.
God in nature, to know his lurking places.
This is Vampy versus that Lesbos Cyberpunk. I like this for its vampire vibe. Valhalla is just really fun. Because you get to kind of have that cyberpunk thing. And you get to serve people drinks. And so that's kind of interesting in its own right.
I always like that quote. I ain't a God-fearing kind, but it's true. There's a natural beauty behind the man-made world if you know where to look. Isabella D'Este's all culture and breeding, but underneath, she's got her vulnerable and beautiful humanity too. I just gotta remember that.
Yes, a good point. Because a lot of that stuff that she came in with, those are some of her defenses too. To survive any number of hurt that she's suffered.
All right, that's enough for one night. Time for some rest. I hope my next
So,
will be a little easier.
Henry David Thoreau was a transcendentalist, author, and poet, and Walden is one of his most famous books. So there's the tie-in to what he was mentioning earlier, just FYI.
Samuel, good evening. I am glad to see you looking so fresh and well slept.
Uh-oh, something tells me I'm in for it.
You're probably right, Sam. Surprising there wasn't a suggestion she say to try to bring back some of her art style. You know what? That might be in the second session that comes up. I think what we had to do is get through some other grave dirt first before we get to the true vampire in the coffin, the true issue here. So I think that might happen in the follow-up session.
The truth is seldom unseen by you, my friend. Tonight, you face perhaps one of the most difficult challenges a therapist can face. The fact that you may not be able to help everyone.
Oh boy. Oh great. Okay, so this is going to mean we're probably going to be put with a client who is not ready to change yet. Even though they're in therapy, we might be dealing with a client who's in therapy because it wasn't, quote, their idea. That's what I'm guessing. Lesbian leaning is fine. I think that's more friendly.
In truth, I have failed to help clients with this particular disposition many times.
And let me guess, it's going to be a client who's not really ready.
Hey, I'm new at this. You're nigh on 3,000 years old. If you can't help them, how can I?
It's not guaranteed that we can help every client. To think we are powerless to help any is a cognitive distortion itself. I believe you know it.
Yes. I would think that's a control fallacy, right?
Yeah, all right. Control fallacy, I know. I can help some folk.
That's right. Here.
And that's really what we have to do as counselors. We literally cannot help everyone because there will just be some clients that no matter our good intentions and no matter our desire, they just may not be ready or they may not be in a place at all to begin to do that work.
Theater feller, huh? I've known a few of them in my time. They can be a little, self-absorbed. He's looking for therapy because people don't like him, it says?
Oh boy, okay. Another one from Britain.
He is one of the most revered actors in all of history.
so he might have a few cognitive distortions.
Yeah, probably. Interesting. So not just control, but the perception. Yeah. So remember he said it's what Sam called saloon thinking. Either feeling like that you have the power over everything or feeling like you have no power at all. Both of those are control fallacy.
If you, he may not recognize them, Samuel, but all you can do is present reality to him.
Right. All you can do is get him to maybe think about it. Okay? Edmund Kean was a highly influential Shakespearean stage actor during the Gregorian period. He is credited with more personal interpretations of character as opposed to a pantomime performance. He lived a tumultuous life on stage dealing with alcoholism, sex scandals, and entitled behavior. He wishes to return to the stage, but expresses great anger at critics who might review him poorly. He demands respect as the greatest actor the world has ever seen. Oh boy, okay.
He comes. Remember, I will give you whatever advice I can. Good luck, my friend.
We're going to do our best. All we can do is present what we're seeing to him, listen to him, and hope for the best.
Hope I'm up to this.
If he's not ready to let us in, then we're not going to be able to do much work for him, but it might take a follow-up session if we can even get him to agree to that.
What is this vampire I see before me?
Hi, I'm Samuel. No.
I'm Sam Walls. I'm your new therapist.
Your dress, your bearing, your hat. You also are forgotten by time.
Oh, great. He's also identifying with us a little bit. Basically. So, that's what can make it very difficult. Because, like, some people think they want to control everything or that they can control everything. And some people think that they can't control anything. So, I try to live my life somewhere in the middle. The things I have control over, I do exert control over. And the things that I can't control, I'm still working on identifying when I'm just getting wrapped up into something that I actually can't change.
Oh, how fortuitous. A kindred spirit, perhaps. A therapist should know pain, I say. Most excellent.
Well, he's a little bit more receptive to us, so we might be able to build rapport with him, but we're also gonna run into trouble when we have to, like, kindly kind of challenge him on some of his things about critics and wanting to be referred to in a certain way.
Can't get a break with this here hat of mine.
No, it's perfect. Do not change a single thing. It gives me faith.
This vampire reminds me kind of Kenneth Branagh. He's one of my favorite actors who's been in some Shakespearean stuff. Or Laurence Olivier also gives me kind of that vibe. And Volo too, yes. Quintessential bard.
Faith, my dear vampire, that you can help me.
I'll help you, but you have to be willing to help yourself too. Like, it's a collaborative effort.
I'm gonna do everything I can. I promise you that, amigo.
Do not do so lightly. Darkness dwells within my
Oh my lord.
journey into my pain at your peril, and I cannot be your
Oh.
You're who now? Anyway, you wrote in your intake form that you're here because... mortals don't appreciate you, you said.
Indeed, and I fear they cannot. They must die to appreciate life.
Well, that's kind of a little bit true, but
Ask the immortal questions.
But also, a lot of people just don't or can't or don't have time to do that kind of
It is
stuff.
life. For us who do not live, why are we here? Why do we continue? What do we do when death has no meaning? And what a piece of work is Vampire. How noble in stature, how infinite in life.
I'm gonna indulge him, okay?
In form and moving, how express and
Because as his therapist, I need to just let him be his full self in the room.
in apprehension, how like a bat. Ah, the beauty of the night.
My dear friends, you will be appreciated. Maybe just not by everybody though, and that's okay. You had to see Laurence Olivier. Well, like he was way back in the he was way back in the 30s or something like that. Don't quote me on that. I have to look that up again. It's been a while. I think now I'm gonna kind of intervene a little bit. Yeah, well, hey, let's do that. Let's indulge him a bit more.
We are but the quintessence of dust.
He needs to get it all out. Let's do it again. Let's just see what happens. The one Kenneth Branagh one I've seen is Hamlet, and I actually own that, and that's one of my favorite Hamlet renditions. I'm gonna indulge him a little bit more.
Already that whence we came.
See, he's awesome, but he's
That was a lot.
he's got to find his audience. Let Edmund perform his monologue. I'm glad we did that. It's basically letting him know he's not gonna get shut down in our office.
You understand, don't you? Death has no meaning because life never had meaning. To die, perchance to sleep.
Oh my
All
goodness.
right, that's enough of that. Before we answer the question of why we're all here, why are you here? Well, that is, what exactly drove you to me, partner?
Good question, Samuel. Great one to start out with.
That. Well, a pustule of a theatre historian I recently seduced and killed sprang the seeds of doubt in mine corpus.
Huh, okay, that's an interesting situation you got yourself in. Please tell me more.
He was writing a biography of the great Edmund Kean, and I thought mayhap that I would favor him with a secret or two.
Oh, I see.
He said my acting style would now be considered archaic.
Well, no, of course, considering most, like, modern acting things, yes. But it just means you have to find an audience who appreciates the older style.
Drank him to the last. I fear his cruel barb was sharper than my fangs. This embossed carbuncle of corrupted caused me to doubt myself. Are all men such fools? Will I ever find my audience again? Or did they die long, long ago?
You'll find them again, but it's just gonna take some time. Because the way that you are on the stage is not the way most people are now. But you know, there is a market for vintage things. Oh, the agony.
Help me purge these awful concerns
I
of
just
my
did that gesture off screen.
We're always gonna have doubts, compadre. That's normal. But I think I can help you see things a little
I
different.
love this.
So, you said your acting's out of date. Why don't you just tell me why it bothered you so much?
Yep, good place to start too. Tell me what happened. Tell me what part of it bothers you the most. Because that can usually help you identify the main issue, which could probably give us a way to, like, heal that.
Because it's simply not possible. Acting became a noble craft entirely because of me. In truth, I am perfect.
That's a lot of responsibility he's putting on himself. And he's basically like, I'm perfect. Yep, that's where I'm leaning to again, because he's putting it all on himself. All on himself as the reason why. I'm gonna go with this, see what happens.
Hold on a sec there, partner. Acting became a noble craft because of you?
That's too much pressure and maybe a little too much credit you're giving yourself,
That's
buddy.
a lot of control over a whole skill.
Over a whole magnitude of actors and performers.
Yes, impressive, isn't it? So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so lives mine art, and this gives life to thee.
Hell, those are some pretty words. You make that up yourself?
It is the bard himself, boy.
Well, maybe he had something to do with the development of your craft.
Yeah, so like,
And just you.
getting him to realize he was also inspired by people in his time. I think that would be an important thing for him to realize, because if he believes he's the origin of all this, well, that's not entirely true. There were people like Shakespeare, people, in ancient Greece even, that you could say was more of the birthplace of acting and theater as we know it. So I think he needs to see himself in a bit of context here.
Well, naturally. But Shakespeare's works are simply words upon a page without me.
Well, as the actor, yes. But you're not the sole vampire, sole actor responsible for bringing them to
Gave
life.
you a leg up in your career. You can share in the success a little.
Yes, I'm not arguing that, Collie. That's not what I'm saying. Yes, his bio did say that. What I'm saying is, he's being a little bit distorted in not recognizing that he himself fed on people who came before him, including Shakespeare, including people in ancient Greece. That's what I'm saying. So, as Sam says here, I think you know he gave you a leg up in your career. You can share in your success a little.
Oh, there are celebrated actors in these times, yes. But any success they have is due to my beating the path for them to follow.
That's control again, isn't it? Because he's again saying, yes, but I'm still the one that makes it possible for them to succeed. Oh, no.
His special client. Remember that his distortions can be about others, not just himself.
Okay. So it wasn't that one this time.
Oh, there are celebrated actors in these times, yes. But any success
Okay,
is due to my
I
beating the
think
path
then...
to follow.
No. That's disqualifying the positive, because he's acting like, oh, all their accomplishments were due to me, and not any of their own work. Okay.
Wait a minute. You're saying that every actor's success comes straight from you?
Of course. Even the greatest among my art would have been consigned to obscurity had it not been for my advancements.
Every single one of them ain't had nothing of their own to give to the theater?
Well, I suppose one or two actors in the last 300 years have impressed me.
So you can be impressed by other people, and yeah, good question. Don't you think they deserve their own success?
Suppose mortals are owed their 15 minutes of fame. One must have some pity for them. We are not monsters. But the actors of modern times, they are shallow, beggarly parrots. Parrots who screech the lines, but do they know them? Do they feel as we feel?
That's a judgment, buddy. That's labeling, buddy.
So you're saying modern actors are parrots?
Indeed, they are only mimics, and thus no better than a well-trained bird.
You don't think they're actually birds, do you?
My dear boy, they live such short lives. What else can they do but hate the words and actions of their
You're totally discounting their own ability to live, breathe, and feel those words for
You
themselves.
call them birds, you're just labeling them that. You ain't giving them a fair shot.
Oh, come now. I was clearly employing a little dramatic license.
Oh no, Collie, I have a label gun. What do you want on your shirt?
But we're here to talk about truth, a right, compadre?
It is my gentle direction that takes the craft to higher echelons, and mine alone. Acting does not evolve without me.
Control again.
You're saying only you can change the course of acting?
Sexy. Yes.
It is demonstrably.
Or how about man
There
buns?
is acting before Edmund Kean, and there is acting after Edmund Kean.
And you need to settle down a little bit. Okay.
I remember when vaudeville came out, but I don't think you had anything to do with that.
Vaudeville? Oh, like so many American arts, an art of the grotesque. You plunge a dagger into the heart of subtlety.
It's a different style, Edmund. There are different styles. Just like you want people to appreciate your style, maybe if the critics realized that you had an ability to also appreciate others, maybe they would be more willing to appreciate you.
So you didn't have nothing to do with vaudeville?
Oh, devils below, no.
Well, then you got a little control fallacy, hombre. Mortals got wills of their own.
I nixed the first one. I'm not that small. Can go with man buns. Or how about hot buns?
Indeed. I don't want any responsibility for the things the Americans create anyway. These critics should honor me, as is my due.
Should.
You're saying critics should honor you. Well, what happens if they don't?
Then you get all upset and you end up in my office. That's what happens. Yes, Collie, save that idea. I'm gonna make that into something.
And they are not doing their jobs properly.
It's not their job to stroke your ego, friendo. Right, but if they don't want to give you a good review, that's in their choice, and maybe you need to find a different audience with critics and viewers who will appreciate what you do.
What if a so-called critic does not recognize my contributions to the theater? What do they know of the theater?
Maybe they just got different tastes.
Yes, which, let's remember that even a critic has their own taste. So even a critique is not necessarily a judgment of value. Say it with me, little monsters. It is not a judgment of value or worth. It is simply a reflection of someone's taste.
Uneducated taste, perhaps.
Which is a label.
If they are just uneducated, why should they appreciate you?
An interesting point. I suppose I cannot blame them.
Oh no. I mean, I'm sure he would be down for that too, but I'm not gonna make any assumptions.
Thou fiend! You are cruel indeed to beat a man when he is at his most vulnerable.
I'm not beating you. I'm asking you to think about how true are those statements.
Here so you may help me cope with a world that has gone mad. Not so you might attack my every word.
And this is what we have to do with clients. We have to say, if I were attacking you, I would be making it personal and there would be nothing therapeutic. What I'm doing is reflecting back to you and showing you where there might be a problem.
I'm doing no such thing. All I'm doing is pointing out your reality. If we're gonna cope, we gotta be honest about the world.
Yes, and honest about the situation, even if it means the current audience does not resonate with you.
And I say that you are a villain. I come to you in desperate need
And so these are clients who come to therapists who just want them to be their echo chamber and tell them what they want to hear. You can do that as a therapist, but in my opinion, you are not doing your job. You are there to help them see themselves in a better light and to understand where they might need to tweak their point of view, but only if they're open to it. Edmund right now doesn't seem like he's all that open to it. Right now he's got his defenses up. So right now Sam is going to be trying to bring those down.
Why would you do this to me? Do you not know what pain I am experiencing? Do you not know that I, as an actor, feel every sling and arrow more keenly?
I mean, I'm sure you feel in your sense more deeply. And I'm sure you might be taking things a little more personally, Edmund.
Art thou a therapist or a murderer that you would push me so to the brink? Do you want me to commit suicide?
No, Edmund. We don't want you to do that.
I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to hurt you. I want to help everyone who comes to me.
Samuel, a moment, please.
Andy, I got a real problem here. I think I'm not cut out for this work.
Yes.
This fella's right. Why am I attacking him when I should be helping?
Sam, you're not. He's feeling attacked. He, quote, feels attacked because you're reaching inside to those places he doesn't want touched. Because those sides that he doesn't want touched are the personal responsibility sides. And clients will do this. Some clients might come in with this mindset where they feel like you're attacking them by simply pointing out, this is what I'm noticing. So, with these clients, you really have to be able to say, I'm sorry if you're feeling like I'm attacking you. That's not what I'm meaning to do. You said that you wanted to know why you don't have as many friends or audience members as before. I'm trying to dig deep in the grave dirt and show you why. From my observation, what might be happening.
First of all, short statement. You will do what you will do, and that is all, Samuel. But look at the candles. What do you see?
The candles? Oh, they seem fine to me.
Look at the flames.
Wait a minute. They're getting higher, ain't they? What the hell's going on?
His emotions are getting higher.
Your client is very powerful. He has his own unique skills earned through the ages. His skill in gaslighting is so intense
Gaslighting.
it affects the world around him.
That's what he's doing. He's basically... And that's what a narcissist will do. So instead of looking at themselves and saying, oh, my behavior is partly causing this, a narcissist with the power of gaslighting will throw that all on somebody. They'll say, you're doing this, you're attacking me, you're making me feel this way, you're pushing me to want to hurt myself, whatever. And it's like, that's their defense against looking at what's really going on here. They brought up gaslighting, that's legit. I've had so much of it done, that's probably why I'm a little bit numb to it.
Reality to fit his distortions. Be watchful, Samuel. Do not let him.
How do I stop it?
Be persistent, and above all, be honest. He does not control your reality.
No, and he doesn't control what goes on in the therapy room either. So this is a good reminder about boundaries, especially with clients.
I await your apology, sir.
Now, I wasn't trying to rile you up none.
Yet I bared my undead soul to you, and you treated me like a pincushion with your sharp pricks.
Pricks ain't got nothing to do with this, Edmund.
And now you seek to proposition me? Of course, it always goes like this. To you I am a void, nay, a whore, to use as you please.
Wow, Edmund. Okay, let's settle that down.
Like I say, go on then, use me. You are losing him, Samuel. This is time to remember what makes you special. You are not just a therapist, and you are not just a vampire. He is afraid, but you will conquer his fear.
I almost want to do this because it's like how he must have like spoken to his horse. Because I feel like if I say like, but I feel like that's gonna rile him up more. So I feel like maybe being direct and saying like, I don't have anything to apologize for, because remember, we basically have to try to keep control of the situation, and it doesn't look like doing this one. Let's try this one. I saved right before. I want to try to calm him down, because this sounds like something he would say to his horse. And I don't know if that will help here. We're going to try this, and if it's not quite right...
Easy, boy, easy.
Ah, I knew it.
I shall not go easy. I shall not.
Ain't nobody gonna hurt you. There's a good vampire.
That's so cute. That's so cute. Collie, should I do that to you when you get upset? Just go, easy boy. Easy boy. I say nay.
A good vampire? What on hell?
Oh, he's never... Oh, that makes Mommy so sad. He's never been treated like he's any good. So he has to blow up his ego.
You're safe now. Ain't nobody here to hurt you or make you feel bad. I'm your buddy. That's us. We're just buddies, ain't we?
Buddies? Yes. A friend.
Yes. Now, technically, in counseling, we're not supposed to make our clients friends, but we are supposed to be a warm, comforting ally for our clients. It's our job to make people feel comfortable and say, this is a safe place. You're safe with me. He does kind of look like Captain Hook, doesn't he?
A friend who wishes to help me.
Yes.
You feeling better there, compadre?
I must confess that I am. Though I scarcely understand how.
Well, because in your line of work, you were used to so much judgment and being teared down. I don't think you've ever had a real friend. So you have to pump up your ego and say, I'm better than anybody. I'm better than people. And really what you're doing is you're trying to protect yourself from saying what you really feel, which is, I'm scared. I've never had a friend. No one's ever been kind to me.
Hey, well, that's just great. I want this to be a comfortable place for you.
Yes. Yes, I do believe you. After all, your profession is in many ways similar to acting. It is no wonder that we find common ground.
Yes. Well, I kind of started thinking, because Andromo said, you know, people like that can be kind of like anxious animals. That like the more and more and more you confront them, the more, and so they need to know that you're safe. Especially if they've been wounded before and you're getting too close, which is what was happening with Edmund. So then you gotta just calm it down and say, it's okay. I'm not trying to hurt you. I won't hurt you.
How is therapy like acting?
I think his horse spirit did improve. Interesting. That's like a D&D character using animal handling to calm a person. Yeah, pretty much. And it's interesting that the only thing we have like that in D&D, which is a straight up spell, calm emotions. But what about handle person? Where you can do the same thing, where you can say it's okay. Where you're not using magic, you're using your attitude, your way of being to shh.
It is the exploration of the soul, is it not? A journey into
Yes.
pain and truth.
Correct.
We see those pains and truths and reflect them onto the cruel world.
I ain't sure I quite see it like that, but it's true that reflecting is important.
Yes.
Kind of funny when we can't look in a mirror, huh?
Right. Because these vampires don't have a reflection. But it's why Mommy likes to have a mirror that she can reflect in, so she can make sure that her reflection is kind of up to snuff. They have pacify person spell. Yeah. Basically, I want to have a version that's not necessarily magic. To just say, like, it takes skill to calm a person.
One of death's cruel ironies. Thus must we see our reflections in the mortal audience instead.
You care a lot about what the mortals think about you.
Of course I do. Why should I give a fig about what we dusty old folk think? Most of us are stuck in our relative pasts.
That's a good observation, Edmund. How do you think you might be being stuck in the past?
But all them folks die. You're what, 300 years old?
Don't remind me. Yes, they die, but I cannot. I must not. If I do not exist in their hearts, there is only the purgatory of oblivion.
That's Nosferatu thinking.
You cannot, you must not. You're talking like there's only one future.
For me, there is only one future, save oblivion.
Yeah, 300 years is pretty young. Although, I think I would be the youngest vampire out of all these because I've only been a vampire for, 8 months. Ooh, woo. Does that make me a baby vampire because I'm only 8 months old? Ooh, woo.
Come on now, that's a little extreme.
'Tis not so. What else have I but the stage?
You have a lot more than that, but you might need to expand your coffin, expand your horizons there.
Well, that's a fine question. I'll tell you what, though, compadre, you are more than the stage. What if theater just didn't exist?
Perish the thought. Perish it with all due enmity.
Babu vamp. Ooh, woo.
Unlike some vampires, I am not some blood-guzzling parasite who will idly sit and wait as the world turns.
Okay, that's... Okay, he's doing some labeling there again.
Parasites?
Labeling.
I am, for that is what we are, if we are nothing else.
No, we are plenty more than that. Some of us are counselors, some of us are writers, some of us got interviewed by a famous writer named Anne Rice. You know.
Alright, let's just forget the part where you're insulting other vampires, myself included. If you say that you're a parasite if you don't do something, you're gonna be scared as hell of not doing that thing.
As an immortal, I aim for loftier goals.
Can you hit those goals if you're busy being afraid of turning into a parasite?
No.
Ah, but your humble speech does belie the true wisdom beneath. I am indeed cruel to myself.
Yes. And you've boxed yourself into quite a tight coffin there, buddy.
I died for the stage, so I should live for it as well.
Well, why should you live for the stage?
Only if you want to, my friend. If the stage does it for you, then the stage does it for you. And that's worth living on life for. But if you feel like it's a burden, then maybe we need to look at other options.
What was my death worth if the stage does not matter?
but it's only you who's saying your death ain't worth something. Your shoulds are fatal. Ain't that a lot of pressure?
Yes. A lot of pressure that you feel like you should live up to, and more importantly, that people should recognize.
Perhaps. Though one might argue that all great actors must be forged.
This is true, but we have to recognize what fire under our asses is helpful, and which fire turns us to ashes, ass included.
But is acting really the most important thing in the world?
I mean, to him it might be, so we need to recognize that for him, it might very well be his literal lifeblood. But continue, Sam.
I shall assume that you jest. Vampire society is of no use to me. We are so few, and I cannot have an adoring crowd without a crowd.
Okay, I feel like that's Nosferatu thinking again. Ass is getting rather toasty. I think that's Nosferatu thinking, because he's like, and I cannot have an adoring crowd without a crowd. It's either I'm thinking maybe it's that, or yeah, because he's saying I'm only gonna feel that way.
Vampires
Yeah.
ain't got nothing to offer you.
Nothing they can give, no. Vampires do not understand the avant-garde.
Are you sure you understand the avant-garde? You're a vampire. First instincts first, always, yes.
Vampires have a lot to give. We got time to understand things mortals just can't. I think you're painting vampire society with a pretty broad brush. We got some redeeming values.
Oh, perhaps. But an understanding of the state is not one of them.
You're of Edmund. Have you ever thought about taking your love for the theater and educating other vampires in its value, magic, aesthetic? You know, how about instead of saying, oh, they don't understand anything about it, if you would like them to be more knowledgeable, Edmund, why not share it with them?
You know, I see what you are doing. The motivations of man are well known to me through my art.
And what am I doing?
You are mocking me, undermining me.
No.
causing me to doubt myself. I know thy purpose, wretch.
No, that's not what we're doing. I'm getting you to look at some preconceived notions you have.
This therapy business is all a ruse. You would lay me low and claim dominion over me.
All I'm trying to do is help you, friend. Reality's a lot easier to deal with when you can accept it for what it is.
So, now you doubt my sanity. Is there no end to your japes and jabs?
That gaslighting is potent.
I shall not break. Oh, you shall see. The tides of cruel seas will crash upon me, but I do not wither.
No one is asking you to do that, friendo. What I'm saying is you might be unnecessarily filling yourself with pain and burdens by having viewpoints that are not serving you.
I know thy game, trickster. You wish to keep me in your debt. The more I doubt myself, the more you take from me. You think you are clever, but thy tongue outvenoms all the worms of the Nile. Will, what have you to say for yourself? Speak, that I might hear thy bile.
I want to almost tame him like a wild horse again, because that seemed to work, and that's kind of what Sam knows. I'm going to try this option.
Easy, Walter.
horse spirit again.
What?
I know you're upset and you're scared. I ain't gonna hurt you.
He is like a wild horse. They get angry, cantankerous. They're like, I know what you're trying to do.
You want to hurt me?
No, I don't.
Good vampire. Ain't you sweet? Yeah, it's all right.
You really don't want to hurt me? You'll keep me safe?
Of course. This is the therapy office, not the slaughterhouse.
We're safe. Ain't no place safer than right here. We're friends. That's right. You're my buddy now. Just my pal Eddie.
In truth, I am oft left bereft of friendship.
What did I say earlier?
It can be difficult.
What did I say earlier? He's probably never had a friend. And then trying to make friends with other vampires, that might be a little hard for him.
You mean vampires?
No, actors.
Or actors too.
To sense one is not alone in all the world is a
So animal handling toward gaslighters, good to know. Well, only if they have a part in there that you can get in and soothe. A lot of people who are, masterful at gaslighting just really make it difficult to get in there and soothe them.
You ain't alone, I promise you. Whatever bad stuff we're living, someone else has lived it already.
That's also true. We've learned in counseling, especially group counseling, that nearly everything a person has experienced has also been experienced by another person. This is not to delegitimize a single person's suffering or trauma or experience, but it's to remind people of the universality of their experience so that they don't feel alone. Because most people like Edmund come to therapy feeling like their suffering is unique, and that uniqueness tends to isolate them. And when you get into too much isolation, you do exactly what Edmund does. You push people away. You distort the way the world is and other people are to continue to convince yourself that you are special and alone in your suffering, instead of being open to the possibility, hey, others have gone through this too. You're not alone. People can understand you.
'Tis so. Many geniuses were unappreciated in their time, with wonders of their craft consigned to history's dusty pages. Even the bard himself did struggle. There is some comfort in that.
Again, showing him he's not alone. Even William Shakespeare, Oscar Wilde, Mary Shelley, many of these famous authors, Bram Stoker even. His original Dracula was panned by a lot of critics in his day. And almost no one can think about that happening now because of how popular Dracula and other spin-offs have become. And that's what I like to do as a writer a lot, is just remind myself. Every author has had critics. Every author has had a book that hasn't done well. Every person who has been in the arts somewhere has had some part of them that's unrecognized.
Common nocturnality. We all got the same needs, man. Blood, safety, and sex.
Sex too? Yes.
Indeed. I too am akin to the doomed Achilles, though my sore spot lies not so low, but twixt stem and stern.
Tain't my place to comment.
Oh, it seems the spot is no secret to you after all.
Yeah, I think that will be fine. I was kind of planning to end it after Edmund anyway, because these therapy sessions are quite long, which is good. They're actually pretty accurate for what like a first session would probably be like.
Maybe we can talk about that some more in your next session.
Yes.
You did pretty dang well today.
And that's kind of really representative of the first session. You can't get to everything, and you shouldn't. That's why there are multiple counseling sessions, because usually it's the first bit of, grave dirt that comes off, and then a little more, and then we finally get to the coffin, which is like the central issue, right? So
Yes, I suppose I did. I am rather good at therapy, aren't I?
you have an ability to engage as a client, and that's going to mean good outcomes.
If you're here and wanting to get better, yeah, I'd say that makes you pretty good at therapy.
Yes.
Well, one mustn't rest on one's laurels, must one?
That's right, Eddie. Okay, I'll see you in a few weeks then.
Yay, we did it. Good job, Eddie.
We shall vanquish my demons together.
Good job, Eddie. Good job.
Dang, what the hell was that?
One of the darker malignancies of the mind, dear Samuel.
You sure I'm up to this?
You handled it, Sam. We handled it. Boy, that was a lot. That was a tough rodeo.
You were masterful, Samuel. You were able to take your knowledge about cognitive distortions and turn their definitions outward. And we must speak about this equine ability of yours in your next session.
Yes, and your spirit horse, who was there helping you.
Oh, that. Yeah, I learned a lot about myself through my horse.
Of course, because animals teach you also a lot about yourself.
Save it for our next session. Rest, Samuel. You have faced a great danger. Now it is time to drink and be merry with the Goths.
Ooh.
Well, not sure I'd call them merry, but they know how to cook. All right, Andy. I'll see you later.
We've.
Good night, Samuel. Rest in peace.
Yay, we did it. Oh, I'm feeling exhausted. Like that was a real therapy session.
Well, that was one of the weirdest
So it
experiences
won't.
of my life.
So if it weren't for his horse, he wouldn't have spent those years in college. If it weren't for my horse. Alright, my little monsters. Mommy is feeling exhausted. So we are gonna save here. I might have to... Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to start saving over. Well, no, I'm wrong about that. Look, we can tab over, so we're good. Okay, so we're going to save it there. And we will continue this probably next weekend. If I stream any during the week, we might do some different stuff so that this is just kind of our fun weekend chill thing. Okay, so this is where we will end that. I'm gonna go ahead and get myself on the other screen here, so that when I quit out of that, we are good to go. Exit. Yes. Alright, and exit. Well, that was really fun. I feel like it's really working my therapist brain. I feel like it aligns quite a bit with what I've been learning. And I feel like it really gives me an opportunity to talk about what I think and kind of add my own ideas to what I would help them with. So I think this is really, really a great game, and I think it would be great for more therapists to actually play this. Not just for the exercise of it, but for the fun of it and the different way that it gets you to reflect on those things, because it's not fully in therapy speak, right? So you have to think about like the spirit of the concept instead of getting so tied down in the language of therapy, which is also why I think the game is done this way. But I think with that, everyone, I think we're going to call this stream for the night. I think I need to figure out who I'm going to be rating next. I think we should go visit a person I follow named Obsidian Reads. They rated me once, and they are currently doing writing and reading the category. So I'm very interested to see what they are doing tonight. So I think that is who we will visit. I'm putting their name in chat for the mods, and maybe we can do something like Comfy Queen Raid or something like that. And then I'm gonna have to fix my raid message so that it works from now on. It's been a little bit buggy, but that's gonna be the plan. Alright, my little monsters. I don't know if I will be able to stream on Monday because I do have some doctor's appointments and I do have some schoolwork. So we may not stream on Monday. I will see if I can stream on Tuesday, maybe. I will let you all know if I can manage to wing that. Until next time, everybody, please take care of yourselves. Be good to each other. Stay well hydrated. Stay well fed, well rested. Take medication as prescribed. And I will see you all next time. Good night, my little monsters. Good night.